been a big fan of Shinichiro Yokota for a few years now, mainly with his album I Know You Like It, which I heard in 2019. It was the first I'd ever heard of this artist and fell in love with him almost immediately, pretty much straight away. I loved his sort of goofy, video game inspired house nerdy style that I just saw really clicked with me so quickly, and I just really fell in love with the way he approached electronic music. He's known for a pretty repetitive style. I think that was one thing that put people off a little bit with the album I Know You Like It. I definitely see why you would say that. They certainly are repetitive house tunes. He loops samples. It's a banging noise, I apologize for that. He loops samples pretty much continuously, but I really enjoyed what he was doing on that album. Going back to his 2016 album as well, a massive highlight for that year. Listening to other artists that he's been affiliated as well over the years was such an eye-opening moment for me. I can't praise this guy enough. I basically gave him album of the year for 2019. If that's not high praise, then I don't know what is, because that is the highest of praise you could give someone, basically. And he truly deserved it. So of course I wanted to review this new album here. I will say, to start with, it's pretty much more of the same. I don't necessarily feel as though he's gone out of his way to stretch his style any further than it already had with this album, which I think works against the album, not as much as it works for the album, because I do think this style of the music that he goes for is really fun and addictive and enjoyable. But I would say it goes a little bit against the album, because it feels like he's just painted himself into a corner a little bit. We're getting similar sounding tracks to what we've heard from him in the past. I will say the first track is pretty timid. It's a very familiar melody from this guy. The repetition doesn't necessarily work in the album's favour, I don't feel. The track itself is okay. It just feels like it's the core of something bigger. It feels like it's part of something that would be a bigger musical moment, but it ends up just kind of looping the same thing over and over again, which is funny because I think it works so much in his favor with I Know You Like It, and yet this album seems to fall short in places like this. I do also feel the same with the track Time Lapse. I thought that was another moment that felt like we're getting similar things. The yeah thing that kind of goes over and over and over again gets a little repetitive, to be honest, but it's a shame because I think the actual core of the track again is really good, and I feel like if he built upon the idea that he's going for, this actually could have been a stellar song. This is the thing, while the repetition doesn't necessarily work in the album's favour at the best of times, I actually think the general core melodies of these songs are really, really fun and enjoyable. That's the thing, that's what Shinichiro is so good at. Tokyo Traffic Paradise takes the best elements of the album I Know You Like It. I think here the drive to this one, really like the beat that kicks this song into gear and takes it in a bit more of a meteor direction. Ooh. This one just feels like it's driven more. I mean, to the point where it does actually feel like it could make it onto some kind of like driving game soundtrack, honestly. I feel like it just has that kind of energy to it that I really like. It's a bit of a pumper. And Midazolam, great bounce to the beat. This one feels like a very unique track for Shinichiro. I don't think he's done many tracks like this. The melody feels a bit more off-kilter as well, something that we just haven't really seen him go for in the past. I'm totally all for this slight shift in direction that just ever so slightly shifts the boundaries of what we expect from him, and it does the song wonders. Really like this one. It's moments like this where I feel like Interested in It, for example, could just go further with what it's trying to do. It could take what it's got and push harder, and you'd get moments like this track, Midazolam. Yeah, it just makes me kind of feel like the weaker moments really pale in comparison to these great moments. Momji has a super playful melody that I think, again, just makes his style so charming to like. It's just so hard not to like a melody like this. It really just makes you want to want to cuddle Shinichiro, give him a big hug. I like the approach that he took on the track Accelerators, which has been a single for quite some time now. The sort of like vocal snippet that comes through, and it kind of feels like it's clipped a little bit and it's sort of like chopped up, sounds really great for the song. No other track has this kind of extra layer of detail added to it really, but again I think this really works nicely for him. And again, I knew I liked this track a while ago, so of course in context with the album it is as good as I remember it being really. Detectors is okay, but you know, more of the same type stuff. It doesn't close out the album the best kind of way, I wouldn't say, to be honest. I think it could have ended with a bang, but you know, it's not a bad tune. And that's the thing, most of this album just ends up being like that. It's not bad in any stretch of the imagination. A lot of what you could say for one song, you could say for other tracks, which I think is a bit of a shame, because I wouldn't say you could say that about Do It Again and Again or I Know You Like It. I thought those two albums had very distinct tracks that had really great moments and really, you know, kept you entertained from start to finish. Whereas this album feels like it's a weaker version of those two albums combined together, which is a shame, but regardless, I still don't think he's missed yet. He hasn't given us a miss here. This is actually a bit of a hit, I would say. On the lower end, because I would say 6 out of 10, but I wanted to highlight this guy as an artist really with this review. I wanted to just show you guys that this guy is still putting out some really enjoyable albums, and just because I give it a 6 doesn't mean that you would feel the same way about it. I think there are people out there that could absolutely love this and at least go back to his other albums as well. If you're going to go and do anything, I would do that first and then play this new album here, because he is a really talented guy and he absolutely deserves the shine. Even though my score isn't that high, I want to celebrate Shinichiro Yokota. I think he's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that's my review. Thank you for watching as always. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. Check out the other reviews of this guy that I've done as well. It might be worth your time to see my thoughts on those albums. Well, I think I've only done one album review of his actually in the past, but regardless, check out that album review and yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell me what I should review next. Goodbye. Have a good day. Goodbye.